What's up, Wizards? It's Mooner. I'm back. I got a real quick Kano Blitz deck tech for you guys. If y'all ain't heard, Chain has hit Living Legend during the first week of skirmish season, and Kano and Kasai are not far behind. I expect Kano to probably hit Living Legend either this weekend or, if not this weekend, 100% by next weekend. But my skirmishes, I've got 2 of them this weekend, and I will be playing Kano. And then when he hits Living Legend, I will be playing Extra Royal or Emperor. But I figured I would show you off the deck that I'm going to play this weekend. Take him out for one last spin. Kano is my favorite Blitz hero that has ever been, even over Icelander. I love Kano. He's just my favorite. But let's just get into the deck real quick. This deck is teched a little more heavily towards the Rune Blades. It was teched a little heavily, for Chain, but since Chain is gone, I expect Vincent and Briar to kind of like creep up and take his place just a little bit, so I'm not going to change the deck all that much, but I just wanted to get into the deck with you guys real quick. So obviously we have Kano, duh, and the only weapon I run currently is Crucible of Aetherweave. Even in a mirror, I run Crucible. I've played the mirror probably 100 times, and I still prefer running Crucible. Just getting that little bit of extra reach on your spells is just a little bit more important to me. So Crucible is the only weapon that I run, even in the mirror. Then we have our hats. Oh my god, sorry. My cats are absolutely nutcases. Get off the fucking table, you fucking psychopath. Oh. What's up, Wizards? It's Mooner. I'm back. So, I'm doing another deck tech for this Kano Blitz deck. Deck tech. The last one I did was kind of fucked up, so I had to take it down and redo it, obviously. I fucked it up a little bit. Anyways, I fixed the issues, and let's just all start this off with a moment of silence for our beloved, or maybe some of you not so beloved, Icelander players. But hey, we are all Wizards here. This is all Wizard all day. So Icelander just hit Living Legend. She just won a Battle Hardened in Wallonia, somewhere over in Europe, and it has now gotten enough Living Legend points to push her over the edge, and now she is no longer legal in CC as far as next Monday, as far as I know. If that all checks out. Anyways, Icelander in Classic Constructed is Living Legend, and Kano is knocking on the back door. I thought my Blitz event this week wasn't actually a Blitz event. It was a sealed event. So I've got 3 Blitz events next week to go to, and I'm hoping Kano still remains legal for those 3 events. If he doesn't, I'll just play Emperor. I've already got it sleeved up and everything, ready to go. Check out my last Emperor deck tech, Extra Royal Emperor deck. It's still a really fun deck. But I just wanted to go over this deck really quick and tell you what changed and what was wrong with it. I just lined it up with the February list excuse me, that I have been playing. I made sure that it was exact to that list, and it was. So anyways, let's just go over. We got Kano, obviously, and then we got our hat pieces. We got Ragamuffin's hat, and we have Crown of Providence. Ragamuffin's hat comes in 99% of the time. For that extra rags combo at the end there. Crown of Providence comes in when you really, really need that life, or you are forced to go second into something like a Brute or a Guardian, or a Benji Ninja, or even a Prism or something like that, where you really feel like you have to block something extremely crucial with dominance, or get your whole hand stripped away and need the block. I still bring in Crown of Providence. and it does still perform just as well, being able to filter your hand a little bit and block out a little bit of extra life. But most of the time, Ragamuffin's hat comes in for the majority of the matchups. If you would like a full matchup guide, I could try to get that out to you as soon as possible. Just let me know in the comments. Our only glove slot, we have Metacarpus Node. Our only weapon of choice is Crucible of Aetherweave. Even in the mirror match, I still run Crucible. I just still like the little bit of extra reach that it gives my arcane spells. And running Crucible was a little risky in the Icelander mirror because she could always react to it. But against another Kano, I'd rather have the reach than the Waning Moon and Alluvian package, so I don't run that. I just run Crucible in every single matchup. Then we have our chest pieces. I do have 3 of them. The main chest piece I run is Spellfire Cloak. So we can clean this up a little bit. Spellfire Cloak comes into just about 90% of the matchups. The game is not going to go much longer than 2 or 3 turns, or it shouldn't. And being able to get this, access this resource at instant speed on your opponent's turn is really, really important. This Spellfire Cloak basically just pays for your Stormstrider's activation, but it is just one resource at instant speed on your opponent's turn. Really, really powerful. We do bring in Fendel Spring Tunic when we want to either A, block a little bit, or we think the game is going to go a little bit longer. So it also comes in against Benji. It can block out like an annoying Kadachi or something like that and stop a mask trigger. And it can also get you some extra resources. You might be able to get to turn 2 or 6 or even 9 if you are going up against a really grindy, fatiguey matchup. There are a few of them out there like Bravant, and there's even a fatigue style Bolton deck, and there's a couple of fatigue style decks out there. You will run into them, so it's good to have Fendel Spring Tunic in your equipment suite just for that. And then I also run 1 copy of Frontline Plating, and this is specifically only for those matchups where I'm supposed to go, where I'm forced to go first, and they expect to be able to dump a whole lot of damage on me as fast as possible. And that is in like the Brute and the Guardian matchups, where I can just throw my equipment in front of their attack and use my hand to deal arcane damage to them and just try to like bring our life totals down to parity on turn 0 as best as possible, while still saving some life with using frontline equipment. And then the only boots I run are Stormstriders. Enough said there. I hope I don't have to explain too much about all my equipment choices, but I figured I would show them to you anyways. Next, we're going to get into the yellows. I started off with the yellows first. I run 1 copy of Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is an absolutely nutty card, can enable some super crazy nutty combos, and can really just take a turn and take a shitty turn and turn it into something like really strong and powerful. Check out some of my earlier videos for some Chain Lightning shenanigans if you want. But I do run 1 copy of Chain Lightning in there. It is still a yellow block 3. It really lines up well with things like Gaze the Ages and things like that, the way they resolve and interact. But we run 2 copies of Lessons in Lava. Then we run 2 copies of Sonic Boom. This is all main board stuff, by the way, guys. And these are the 5 yellows that we run. 2 Sonic Boom, 2 Lesson in Lava, and 1 Chain Lightning main board. Then in the main board, we run 2 copies of Blazing Aether. We run 2 copies of Red Emeritus Scalding, 2 copies of Swell Tidings, 2 copies of Aether Quickening, 2 copies of Aether Spindle, 2 copies of Aether Flare, 2 copies of Tome of the Aether Wind. So these are all of the reds that we run in the main board. Counting them up so far, we've got 5 over here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that leaves us access to at least 20 blues. And that's really where I think you should be when you approach this deck. I think you should be at right around 19, no less than 19 blues, but right around that 19 to 20 blue range. So let's go over to blues. First, we run 1 copy of Eye of Ophidia. If you don't have it, I'm sorry. Just run any other blue block 3, like maybe a what's the one that lets you opt 3 and Sift or something like that. I don't know. Something that lets you opt, something that lets you block. But just being able to pitch it and know what the top 2 cards of your deck are is absolutely pog. This card is absolutely nuts and can enable some super amazing combos that you're going to have played around with it for a while. Yes, it is a brick. It is a brick. If you can brick on Eye of Ophidia, it's happened. It's happened to all of us. But we just move on and count our blessings. Next, I run 1 copy of Emeritus Scalding in blue, and this is for the Fatigue matchup. This is a card that's going to get pitched late for late game. Then we run 2 copies of Blue Aether Quickening, 2 copies of Gaze the Ages. This card just does every single thing we want a blue to do. We want it to block 3, we want it to be able to opt, and then when we want it to come back to our hand, and we want to be able to use it again as resources. Then we have 2 copies of Blue Aether Flare, 2 copies of Blue Sap, 1 copy of Blue Zap, 2 copies of Blue Aether Dart. This is mostly for like in case you run into this is one of the only spells in the Kano's arsenal that says deal damage to any target, not target hero. So you can target like angels and things like that. Then we run 2 copies of Energy Potion, and my favorite card, 1 copy of Potion of Deja Vu. And that is the main deck here. And if I add all that up, so we had 19, 20, 21, 2, 35. Was that correct? Yeah. So then we have 35 main board cards. Then our sideboard is 2 copies of Scour. These come in for the Runeblade matchups. This deck is more teched against a little bit of the Runeblades and a little bit of the other trickery decks. Like it's also teched against the Rangers. Do not discount the Rangers in Blitz. They are strong. They are fast. There's some nasty like Death Dealer or Lexi lists out there, and there's some even pretty decent Riptide lists out there as well. And then I run 2 copies of Warmonger's Diplomacy. That's why I said don't discount the Rangers. This also helps out with the Rune Blades. These 2 cards also come in and help out with your issues with the Rune Blades. I have 2 copies of Yellow Mind Warp, and I have 1 copy of Nourishing Emptiness. Nourishing Emptiness really should be a staple. It should be in just about every single matchup. But there are some matchups out there that just have natural, more arcane barrier or more ways of preventing Nourishing Emptiness from hitting. And Bolton is one of them that I can think of. The Shadow Heroes are some of the heroes that I can think of that have ways of preventing Nourishing from hitting. So there's a lot of armor out there. Even the Rune Blades, like I said, they have that Dyadic Carapace that can block for 2 and still prevent 2 arcane damage. So they have ways of blocking Nourishing that you would not suspect, and I wouldn't run it into every single matchup. You have to really know your opponent and whether or not you think you can get away with running in a Nourishing in the list. But I usually do. I usually run it. I would say I run it into just about 80% of the matchups. And then the last thing you're going to do is just slide the last 4 cards in. So Scour or Warmongers or Mind Warp. Mind Warp is really good into the super fast aggro decks, like they don't want to block you out at all. Warmongers is really good into those decks that want to play a bunch of actions and non-attack actions and then attack actions and just string together a lot of shenanigans and try to hit you with it. And it's really good into Azalea and the Rangers. And Scour, I've found Scour is just good into so many situations. It's good into Prism. It's good into Vincent. It's good into Viscerai. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's good into... I wanted to say the other Runeblade, but Viscerai is no longer with us. It is also good into things like Valda for when she creates a million Seismic Surge tokens and just crippling crushes you and does things like that for free. Scour can be really effective in that, but Scour I've found is a really, really good way to completely shut down Vincent. And Mind Warp comes in when I want to just be a little bit more aggressive, and nothing feels better than like an Aether Flare into a Mind Warp, and they lose a bunch of cards from hand, and things just feel good. But yeah, excuse me. I wanted to make adjustments to the deck list because I wanted it to match the deck that I have listed on February right now currently, and that's it. So hopefully you guys go out there and play this deck list this last weekend for skirmish season, and we see our boy Kano off with style. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being supporters of the channel. I love and appreciate all of you. And Wizard love ain't going nowhere. Just because Icelander LL means Kano's just gets Kano's time to ride. And that's all. I'll be making some Kano CC content coming up here real soon. Got some other surprises in the mix. And I'm still writing for Channel Fireball and all that stuff. So just, stay in touch. Peace out, Wizards.